welcome once again to a TGIF Village in Motion. It is Friday, the second Friday of August the 11th, 2017, and I am just more than excited to be your host today. Diane Gatz is having we have a terrific show. And before I introduce my two wonderful guests, I'm just throwing these out. So, you know, I get these things from I don't know, reminders of National whatever day. So there's two that I'm just going to throw out. So it's not national, but it's the 40th anniversary of hip hop today. And if you go on Google, they have a thing you hit, it's a turntable, and you can be your own DJ, which is pretty cool. I was doing that earlier. And the other thing, and I'll just say this, it's National Presidential Joke Day.
And we're going to leave it right there.
And that's, so with that, let's get this party going.
Let's
and
go.
We have Kelly Luchander, who used to be in community resources, but graduated. Can we say that?
We can say that.
We can say graduated to volunteer programs. And of course, my colleague and co-producer, Avon Price here. And we're here to celebrate the fact that these two put together one of our award-winning Tellys, and we're going to talk a little bit about the creative process. And it wasn't just the fact that these two were involved. Actually, the whole community on this particular one was involved, so it's a win for everyone. It's always a win for everyone. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Tellys, just to kind of clue people in. So Kelly, I'm going to throw you on the spotlight here. So what question would you want to ask me about the Tellys?
What are the Tellys and who is nominated and part of this?
Right, and that wasn't even scripted. Yes. So the Tellys is an international award competition. They get entries from all 50 states, including our territories. I don't know if Guam has submitted, but
We'll say it just so we look better.
And international nations submit awards, and there are several categories. It's something you do have to pay, just like any award competition. You know, the Oscars, the Grammys, the Screen Actors, you name it. You know, this isn't something they do out of charity. You have to, kind of up the penny. But they do have judges. They have a three-judge, I wouldn't say panel, but 3 judges look at every single entry. And the judges are scattered all over the country. And they have some criteria, and we, as a community, we determine criteria as to where to place the awards. So there's a competition for music, there's history, there's nonprofit, health, whatever. So, and then those 3 judges get a slew of like 70 to 100 videos that they need to watch and determine if it's worthy of either the bronze Telly, which we've gotten 28 of these now.
Wow.
Or the silver, which we've only gotten 2.
So far.
Thank you. And that's their highest award, and we keep trying for the highest, but that just gives you an idea of how hard it is to win one of these. And the competition gets harder and harder. And Avon, you can attest to this, I think, the fact that sometimes I'll say, God, the bar just keeps going higher and higher.
With the increase of technology and like the different softwares out there, and the more things you can put into videos and stuff, it just ups the ante just another level each and every year.
Right, and the fact that we have 3 full-time staff people. We don't get the opportunity to just edit, 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's something we do more on the side, and we try to do it during the day, but so we don't sit there and go, oh, let's fine-tune this. And so let's talk though about the one that we did win, which was the Jingle Bell Rocks. And that's why Kelly, she's not really crazy in terms of why she's wearing.
This is my normal Friday garb. You know that.
Is there anything special about it? I mean, I don't really get it, but.
Come on.
So I kind of want to go back to, it's probably about a year ago, I'm thinking, maybe a year ago, October-ish. And what I remember is having lunch with Community Resources Group in Channel 6. Occasionally we do that, and we try to kind of brainstorm. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might have said, oh, Christmas is coming, and Avon's always telling us that Christmas is coming. But Christmas is coming, we need something for Christmas.
Yeah, and I think I'll start
You will
here.
start? Okay.
Avon and I, for a while, were doing these Man on the Streets that you had helped us get going, where we did something where we go around and talk about, maybe it's National Ice Cream Month, we go around and ask people, what's your favorite flavor? So we did that kind of thing, like just asking questions to random people, and we said Christmas, and I thought, well, we could go around and ask people what their favorite Christmas carols are, because those are popular, and that's kind of where Avon took it to the next level. So.
Well, I'm going to say the reason why I chose this song, because I do remember I had saw the movie Mean Girls. And so they had a musical selection of singing Jingle Bell Rocks, and I was like, oh, that'd be a good idea. We get the community singing it as one big piece, you know, because I like the Man on the Streets, because, you know, you just get different people's ideas, and it's just kind of like a community kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Community spirit. Of, you know, joining around, and we got like people from the resident council, people, you know, staff members. We got different residents that you might not have seen before be involved, so it was just fun.
And you try to hit each community building, right?
Yeah,
So.
I think we probably walked around maybe 3 days total.
We walked around a lot. We were singing that song in our sleep, that is for sure. But I think the cool thing about this one, other than the other Man on the Streets, is usually it's like pulling teeth kind of to get people to ask questions, or they don't want to be on camera suddenly, but saying, hey, will you sing this song with me? It was so much easier. And, you know, Christmas time, everybody's in a good mood, I feel like, so.
Well, sometimes you had to bribe the people and say, I'll sing with you. They wouldn't just do it alone. Kelly had to bribe, so she's kind of on like, what was it, 90% of the shots just to get people to do it.
Yeah, it's a bit Kelly heavy, but that's all right.
So then so you tape it, you go out around, you tape it, and let's go to the next stage. So first we have, actually we talked about two of the stages. So we have pre-production being, let's figure out what we're going to do. And then the two of them figuring out, we're going to go around the community, and then production, which is, now we got the camera, we're going to shoot it. Took 3 days, more or less, to shoot it, and then the fourth stage, which is post-production. So Avon.
That was the more interesting part. At first, I do remember feeling like I bit off a little bit more than I could chew with this, because, you know, first I had to find a song that matched the beat that everyone was singing on, and then I had to, you know, make sure it all synced properly. And then I had to balance between making sure, you know, I didn't use the same person too many times. So I think it probably took me about 2 weeks to do that. And 1 week alone was just marking through the audio, because I had it where it was just instrumental. So marking through the audio, like key parts, and being like, this is when it says rocks, and this is a musical break. Like this is, so that took a while. And then having to go through the footage and be like, well, they didn't sing the first verse right. Maybe I'll take a little bit of this verse too. So it took about 2 weeks, and then syncing it up. But, you know, I like a challenge. It was fun.
And then you also added some graphics.
Oh yeah, I did. That was a little cheat. You know, we say in CrossFit, you know, we got to find a way to legally cheat. And so that was.
Wait a minute, we don't legally.
That was my way of legally cheating. You know, I created just some graphics of like snow falling, you know, snow falling, and then some text, because I couldn't find a verse, that part in the song. I couldn't find a person who had sung that part. And so I was like, well, you know, I see in music videos, they just flash the words, so we'll just do that and legally cheat. So
I don't call that cheating. I call that acknowledging someone else's effort and taking it and making it your own.
I think it's an enhancement, what you did.
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
So, and we're going to show the video if you haven't seen it yet in a few minutes. But so I'm just throwing this out again. I'm thinking we're going to do more of these.
We were just talking about that. You know, I mean, she's now promoted to volunteer, you know, programs. I was like, you're not CR anymore. Do I have to get Janelle, or?
We'll see. I mean, you can't stop me from.
And now we need a new song as well. We don't know what song we got to do.
and speaking of not stopping her, so yesterday we were at the gardens, and the Tillagers had asked if I could go do some videotaping because Echo was here. And so I'm there with my camera, and Kelly comes in and she starts, well, why don't we have this, and why don't we have that, and I'm looking at her like, wait a minute. Who is?
You know, I got thrown back into the old situation with Avon. I would just, oh, we should get them ask them this question, you know.
So you got to see how bossy she is on the field.
So maybe you went into the wrong
I'm
field.
passionate, not bossy.
Weren't you a political science major?
Yeah.
See,
Who knows, you know? Who knows? This
You're
community
detailed
brings it
oriented.
out, I guess.
So let me go ahead, and I'd like to present one certificate to
Wow.
Kelly, and I will give Avon, but this certificate is for the 30th Annual Telly Awards, 2017 Bronze Telly winner. It has their names, Green Spring, Channel 6, and it's Jingle Bell Rock.
Yay.
Thank you.
And I get the big
She
stuff.
gets
No.
the prize.
I wouldn't say I get the prize, but the community, and we'll have this on display, gets this really neat trophy, and they're a little bit different than, a little bit different design than the other ones, which is kind of neat. So I'll humbly accept this for the community. I do know sometimes people come in and say, "What, Diane? You have all these awards," and I'm like, and they're scattered. If you haven't come into Channel 6, you know they're all over the place, and they're like, "Well, you need to really display them." And so if you have ideas, let me know. But anyway,
Cool.
they'll be on the set piece for now. So,
Perfect.
anything else you'd like to share with us?
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming, and Avon said earlier he'd like to do just a live version of the Jingle Bell Rock real quick, right, Avon?
Nah.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Come on, Avon.
Nah,
keep
you know I don't sing like that.
But I do want to take one moment
Sure.
before we go to that, and then we can continue singing. These two are going to be together in a few weeks, so you want to talk a little bit about the variety show, talent show coming up in about 2 weeks from yesterday.
What I will say, once again, Kelly and I are hosting it. It will be a little bit different. We do, you know, we like to kind of spin around the themes that are kind of happening here at Green Spring, so we kind of bring that to play. And I think everyone's going to really enjoy it. I mean, we got some resident interaction this time when we're on stage and stuff, so we're going to pump it up a little bit from the, what was it, last year that we did? Or yeah,
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2015.
So we're going to push it to the next level.
And when is it?
It is on August 24th, next 2 Thursdays from now. And it's at 2 p.m. in the theater, so be there or be square. That's what we always say.
And it's free.
It's free, so you got to get there, get your seat. There's no reserved seating.
All right.
So it's going to be a nice show.
And we'll be there.
Of course,
So
running the show.
There you go. So ready as
Yep.
we go out?
Yep.
Jingle bell.
Jingle bell,
So
jingle
we'll be
bell
right
rock.
back and
Jingle bells
enjoy
swing and jingle
Jingle
bells
Bell
ring.
Rock.
And prancing and jingle bells
I don't
swing.
remember the words.
That's why
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring.
Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In across the air.
What a bright time, it's the right time.
To rock the night away.
Jingle bell time is a swell time.
To go gliding in a one-horse sleigh.
Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. Mix and a mingle and the jingling feet.
That's the Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bell ring.
Slowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square.
In across the air.
What a bright
time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh.
Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock.
Mix and mingle in the jingling feet. That's the jingle bell.
That's the jingle bell. That's the jingle bell.
That's the jingle bell rock.
Welcome back to Village in Motion. Again, I'm Diane Gatzis-Haringa. I'm not only your host today, but I'm the Community Television and AV Manager here at Green Spring. And I just wanted, I know we do a lot of announcements at the end, but I wanted to say in the middle of the show, if you just are tuning in, you know, we repeat Village in Motion Monday through Friday. So we do it live 90% of the time at 10 a.m. It repeats at noon, 4, 7, and 10 p.m. And then, of course, we have our YouTube channel, which has over about 2 years of programs.
Yeah,
right
2
now.
years of June of 15, I think.
Right. So YouTube, and you know, we have so many people who are subscribing and who go to that you don't even have to worry about doing anything other than Google Green Spring Channel 6, and it goes right there. So that's pretty cool. So, well, I'm excited again. I should use a different word. Thrilled to have my next guest. We're going to introduce you, if you don't know, Elise Stinger, who is, how long have you been here?
5 years.
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're heavily involved in the Players.
Yes.
Co-chair. Who's the other co-chair?
Nancy Langley.
Nancy
This
Langley.
year. Fran and I co-chaired together for the last 2 years.
And Fran has kind of retired from being co-chair, but you have another.
I have some other title, I forget what it is, but I know that they didn't choose, what was it, Royal?
Grand Exalted Poobah was
Yeah,
one
they
that she
didn't,
chose.
they didn't choose that title, they chose some other
She's
title.
production advisor.
Production advisor, that's what they designated me as.
Or you could be like operations manager.
Oh, well, I think that's this.
Let's not do that. And of course, people are probably saying, "Oh, well, wait, I see her
Yeah.
here, but she's there." And
Yeah.
so you've been hosting for us for a long time now.
I would say maybe 12 years. I
Hasn't
don't
been
know.
that long. Wow.
I've been here 14 years, and it was in progress a couple years before I came down and complained about something, and I was told, well, if you don't like it, do it yourself. And so you didn't say that.
I didn't say
it wasn't
like
you.
that.
It wasn't you. It was a different person, but I'm not going to name that
yes,
person.
I know exactly. who
And
you're talking-
I, you know, because you probably directed me to that person. You probably said, well, don't tell me, go tell her. Anyway, so yeah, I've been hosting for that many years.
And you've been involved in the Players, I think, that
The
many
whole
years,
time,
the
since
whole
I've been
time.
here since '03.
All right. And then, of course, we have, again,
And the
another
star.
colleague of mine, Andrew Seegers, who needs, I don't think, any really introduction. But I do want to concentrate on the players behind the scenes. And again, kind of following what we did in the first segment, let's talk about the creative process. And again, the only thing that I can remember from my end is that I always try to challenge my staff and get their creative juices going, and try to say, you know, we don't just have to do Village in Motions. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, their biggest problem is when they do have things, we have space and time of our busy schedule, and usually it's like the beginning of the year, yeah, reserve something in September for me so that we at least have something on the calendar. So having said that, I'll let Andrew fill in the rest.
Yeah, it was probably 6 months of just taping your rehearsals, because it started in
Well, before you go into that, how
July.
did you come up with the idea?
Well, it was kind of a funny story. I think Kelly had booked the room for you guys to do auditions, and I was walking down into the theater. Somebody had trouble with a microphone or a projector, and you know, I go down to the theater and see if I can figure it out. And I think Kelly was coming out of the theater, and she goes, you know, they just started doing the Players auditions. Wouldn't it be cool if you did like a behind-the-scenes documentary? I said, you know, I've always wanted to do that, but that's like I don't know if I have time, because that's like going to be 6 months of shooting, and then I don't know when I'm going to air it or get around to editing it. But it was just one of those things where I just kind of just started doing it, not quite knowing when it was going to end.
Probably helped that it
you
was
guys
in
put
Village
on
Square Theater.
It did help a lot. You guys put on a pretty good show during rehearsals. I mean, lots of funny moments. And I think the more and more I got on footage, I was more motivated to keep going down there and visiting. I remember, was it his name, Adron?
Yes.
Sometimes I would walk in and he'd be like, "Oh, don't film this."
Yeah, Adron doesn't live here, but he acts with us a lot and directs.
Don't film this.
And that was exactly what Andrew filmed.
Yeah, that was exactly what I filmed.
So much
All the stuff that probably you were hoping wouldn't go into the video is what made it the most entertaining. You know, no one wants to watch just half an hour of people reading lines. They want to see, like, you know, the little bickering that happens backstage, or someone dropping a drill off a ladder.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we can say that on air. When did you figure out what he was actually doing? And did you know that that's what he was doing?
Gee, you're putting us on. I don't remember that if he came.
I didn't give a whole lot of warning. I just started showing up with a camera.
I remember one time I did stop you and say, "What are you doing?"
Right.
Because you were he was running from one side of the theater to the other, and I'm going, "What?" I said, "Andrew, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then he told me, or whatever.
I gave a few
Or maybe he
people-
didn't tell me anything. He just pushed me away.
I think I told Caroline and John Carl from the beginning what I was going to do.
Yeah, and Caroline
Thinking
was
that
the
it would-
director,
Yeah.
Caroline Buban.
Thinking that it would disperse, but no, I think I still showed up at some rehearsals and people were like, "What's he doing? He's been here for months now."
Why is he asking those questions?
But it was nice
and aren't they funny?
because by the time dress rehearsal came around and then the nights of the performance when I was backstage, by that time everyone knew me. It was just like, "Oh, there's Andrew with the camera, taping everything." But it was probably a 6-month process. I think I started filming in July.
Probably July or August.
And then
The
all
show
the way
was in
through the
November.
end of November, got footage, and I whittled it down to about a half hour. I probably had like 15 hours of raw footage. I could make a whole other documentary from the other stuff that was on the cutting room floor, but it turned into a pretty good thing, I think.
When Andrew showed it to our players' meeting, a subsequent meeting, I don't know when, maybe January or something, all the people who were filmed in it were complaining about what they looked like on.
It's no different than
They wanted him to edit those parts out.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think it's the best thing I've done in my career here. And it was a lot of fun editing together lots of different interviews from lots of different people and trying to find the commonality between what they were saying and then the B-roll I shot. I spent hours sitting in front of my editor just watching clips, trying to figure out where I was going to put it.
Sure.
But it was a lot of fun. And like Diane says, we don't always have a lot of time to do those kinds of projects between, AV and all the rooms and Village in Motion and scheduling guests and just doing the day-to-day stuff, putting out all the fires.
Well, you need a project then that's a long-term project.
Right. I've been sitting on one now for months. Another thing I've been trying to get around to doing, but every day comes and goes, and it's like, oh, one day I'll get to that.
We could tell you really enjoyed doing it because you put in a lot of time beyond the normal hours.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah,
nights
because we were meeting
strange times, right?
Oh yeah, that was I was coming at 6 or 7 at night to go to your performances. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about the editing process, just so people who do not understand or know anything about it. When you say a lot of things ended up on the cutting room floor, which is an old film term, which I have to throw this out. So Andrew is no stranger to film. If you haven't heard his background, but when he was in college, one of the things that he was tasked to do as your major, right, to graduate, he had to put together an actual film, which I actually was able to see when it premiered.
And it's funny, I watched it again the other week and I cringed the whole way through it. I was like, I can't believe I showed this to people.
You rented out the Arlington House.
The Draft House.
Draft House, which is a theater in Arlington, obviously, and he invited his friends and his family and, of course, his colleagues, and we all came, and I didn't realize, but I knew half the people who were in the movie, as it turned out. But so he has a film back, and you shot it in film. It was not in video, right? Or I can't.
No, I shot it in HD.
Okay, so never mind. But still,
I did shoot projects on film in college because I had professors that were old school, and they wanted me to cut and paste things together on film on a flatbed so that we had that experience. So it's
I wonder
good.
if they still do that.
Cranking on an old Bolex camera. It wasn't even battery powered.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay, so leaving things on the floor. So just take like maybe one scene where you decided, well, I needed to cut this away, or I needed to shorten it, or, oh, she said this, do I have?
Yeah. I had the privilege of shooting all of the B-roll, the footage of the rehearsals and the auditions and the performances and the dress rehearsal before I did any of the interviews, like the one-on-one talking head shots, which was good because all the moments I captured when I was filming, I could actually ask them about that. So I could actually get them to back up the things that I got. Like, for instance, got a lot of funny footage of Kathleen Henry, the stage manager, doing her thing and patrolling backstage and getting people in line and keeping them in order. And I was desperately trying to get somebody to tell me about Kathleen Henry. I mean, even Eloise told me, she's like, I'm not saying anything about Kathleen on camera. But finally, Jane Ford was brave enough to give me the stories I wanted about Kathleen. So I was able to intercut Jane's talking head with all the scenes of Kathleen backstage being like, come on, men, get out of the dressing room. We got to get into makeup, you know. And I think, for instance, another night, too, like I was just hanging out backstage before one of the performances, just waiting for something to happen. I'm just filming everything. Most of it's probably just pretty boring. But I just happened to be at the right place at the right time when John Carl's trying to hang the banner above the stage, and there's this massive confusion about does the banner go on the hooks or does it go on the sconces, and it's almost this like Monty Python skit that it turns into back and forth, like no one knows what the other person is saying. And so I eventually got that on tape, so when I interviewed John, I could say, so what's going on with the banner? And he told me the whole story. And that's actually the clip I picked out that we're going to show later.
So actually, let's go ahead and show that clip right now, and then we'll come back and distribute our awards. So this is an example, or not a segment of the men's.
I told the men 6 o'clock, and
yay! Oh, yeah.
The women, there they are. Okay, Bob Gulrich.
Yes.
Jan has been looking for you. Here's Mr. Gulrich.
The stage manager takes over from the director once the show starts. And the stage manager has to make sure all the actors are there. The stage manager walks the set after everything's in place to say, okay.
Oh, okay.
I can't say enough about Kathleen Henry and Ann Daniels. I mean, they've done so many plays here, and I was a relative novice, so they were so helpful. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You don't get anything past Kathleen. As I say, she runs a tight ship, and as a rule, everything goes perfectly smooth backstage.
Okay, the room is vacant, so go ahead, please.
Well, I'm going to be the hype girl, okay?
It is more exciting because we have more of an audience.
That's right.
Excitement we don't need.
And when anything goes wrong, like the communications between the booth and the stage, it's covered up.
Once the rehearsals are over, the director's job is done, your history. So I can see why they don't want the director back there, because Kathleen and Ann just take it over.
Now, she's probably in a tizzy, but listen, you don't mess with Kathleen.
Robert. Robert, please. The men are supposed to be, well, actually out of costumes right now.
Wait, are the men in that locked room?
Yes.
Oh.
Bunch of demons, if you ask me. I'm sorry, Jenny, but the guys...
We know what we're doing. You know what time we're coming.
I don't question that for a second.
Well, then why?
We're trying to get the guys out of here at 6 o'clock to come in there for makeup.
Wait, but they can be made up and we can pick out stuff out. All we have to do is take them out.
How's it going there, fellas? Anybody ready to come in to makeup? I'm surprised. Yes.
Makeup?
Yeah.
Oh, makeup?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what she took down. Smack him.
Maybe that's a little loose, and I don't have my glasses on.
Everything is happening. People are getting changed. People have forgotten a part of a costume, or in this case, initially, Bob Gulrick, who plays Trevor Barstow, his knees showed above his knee high. That was all repaired, fixed.
But you know, there's microphones that have to be put on actors, and that has to be all coincided with the booth.
Hello, Eloise. How are you?
Okay, let's try that again.
In his last performance, I think it was either opening night or final dress rehearsal, one or the other. I had left something in the dressing room that we changed in, and I didn't realize the women were changing when I went in there, and that caused a little bit of an uproar.
Anytime you're ready with the banner, I'd like to try it.
I don't know where the sconces are.
I don't care where the sconces are. The hooks are up there.
Well, they want. What are the hooks?
Let me
the
open.
banner is lower than the hooks because the sconces hang down, and then they have a little.
Right.
I'll see if I can find the sconces.
The hooks are where the banner hooks into.
Is that the way it worked yesterday?
No, yesterday I did it on the sconces.
Oh.
Just to get some practice.
I see. So you think it should go in the
hooks?
And no sconces?
No, you put the sconces up, but the banner's going to be on the hooks.
I thought the sconces were on the hooks.
No. We had a little issue with the banner because everyone just assumed I was going to hold my hands up and pretend, you know, for 2 minutes or 1 minute that I was hanging the banner, and I really wanted to hang the banner.
I'll look for the sconces.
Okay, and the banner.
And the banner. And the banner. Just one really quick question back to Andrew. So why did you decide you needed to put in the captions of the...
Because I showed it at the players meeting. And one of the main constructive criticisms I got was that the scenes where I'm capturing the audio just on the built-in camera during the rehearsals and stuff was harder to make out than the interview footage, so I decided to subtitle it all. Yeah, which I think makes it even more enjoyable because sometimes
well, I think it's funny.
Some of the funniest lines were mumbled, you know, by someone in the distance. So now if you can see it, you get it.
Right. Yeah.
So. Well, thank you for coming and sharing your creative process with us. I want to again go ahead and hand one of these certificates. Can you give that to Andrew? And I'm going to present this to the players. So I hope you put it somewhere prominent in the stage area. But again, it's for Green Spring players, the behind-the-scenes look. So congratulations, and I have to say there are a couple of other residents and staff who, if you walk around the campus, you'll see hopefully their awards displayed prominently, and I'm sure Kelly will be displaying hers. And again, once again, I will accept this for Channel 6 in Green Spring, the behind-the-scenes look at the players, and it's the Telly Award 2017.
And what number is that?
This one is, well, we'll say it's 31.
31.
The same age as me.
Ooh, he's talking about ages. You want to go there, ladies?
I'm not even going to. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. He mumbled.
It wasn't captions.
It wasn't captions.
So before I let you go,